All right, all right, all right, all right. Here we are. Here we are. Good people back again, man. I just finished recording, shameless plug, my Terrible Towel Tuesday. So that's why you see me in all of this Steelers attire. And I figured, hey, man, I was at work today. You know, this is the day I have to commute in. Wasn't at home. So I was like, I got to get to this video. And I figured, let me just start it right up and get started. So I have not read any of this, but I'm going to skim through it. I'm going to skim through it because again, I can't allow this video to be extremely long. Each one of these videos that I've done has been at least 25 minutes and I can't allow it to be extremely long, but I've heard that this particular blog is very, very long. So I'm just going to skim through it, guys, and I'm going to give my overarching thoughts and opinions on just what this means. All right. So here we are, man. College Football 26 Dynasty and Team Builder Deep Dive. Okay. So both are included. Let's read the building on the foundation. We set out to design College Football 25. When we set out to design College Football 25, we had a multi-year vision for what we wanted. Some of you guys are not going to like that. Y'all remember those days way back in the day, the 3-year plan. But they said they had a multi-year vision for what we wanted Dynasty Mode to become. That journey began by laying the foundation under 3 core pillars: build your coach, build your program, and deliver the world of college football. Okay, so that's what all of that is here, and it basically just explains what each one of those pillars are, but we get the gist of it, man. It says, you know, build your coach. This encompasses the decisions you make on your coaching journey to be the top of the college football world. Okay, I'm just going to give high level information here. Build your program. As the old saying goes, to win in college football is not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. There you go. Deliver the world of college football. The college football landscape continues to evolve. In College Football 26, we've pushed to reflect the ever-changing reality of the sport, from custom conferences and scheduling to protecting opponents and playoff structure. So again, that's just a high-level overview of what that is. But it is interesting that they talk about the multi-year plan, because even right here it says College Football 26 represents year 2 of that vision. A year focused on building on the foundation we set and adding meaningful depth to each pillar. It's about evolving Dynasty while staying true to what makes it special and delivering on the feedback we've heard from our incredibly passionate community. Okay, that's cool. That is cool. I like this right here, and I'm going to read this very loudly because we're going to hold them to this. They did say this last year. They said, because we said last year and still strongly believe today, our team has one singular motto: satisfy the core community, because this is their game. And that is what they were talking about with college football. But as an aside, let me say EA Sports, that is the mantra or the motto that you guys need to have, period, with college football, with Madden. And I will say, this cycle of gaming, especially with Madden, it seems like you are making a lot of changes. So it seems like perhaps you are following that. But it's funny because I have to just take time, a little small time, to say this. This is the stuff that I have been saying for years. And not just me. Smitty, Azurfac, guys like Shopmaster, guys like Ronnie, he knows who he is. I'm just going to give first names. Guys like Bobby, guys like M. Frisk, guys like Sean Mason. I got to say both names for him. They all know who they are. Plenty of people, man, that we used to go down and give our feedback. We would always say you have to satisfy your core community. Why is that important? To me, I feel like the core community for both college football and especially Madden are your franchise players. For college football, your dynasty players. That is your core community. Yes, you have Ultimate Team, and I have no beef with a video game giving people alternative ways to play. 2K has all kinds of different things. 2K basketball, NBA 2K has plenty of depth. They have something for everybody. But if we're talking about the core, The reason why guys like me ever got involved, the core is your franchise and dynasty players, and those people are typically looking for more of the authentic experience. Those are the people that are going to keep playing the game. So you have to take care of the core community. And again, their words, satisfy the core community because this is their game. If you keep that type of mentality, these games will be in a pretty good place. So, of course, they have build your coach, create your coach. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just, again, high level stuff. Coach progression. So it looks like they've done some different things there. I'll come back and read all of this later. Coach archetypes. Let's just read the first blurb here. It says, while progression is the engine of your coaching journey, archetypes are the blueprint for how your coach grows and where strength lies. In College Football 26, we've made a number of updates to how archetypes are unlocked, balanced, and expanded, all with the goal of making each coaching path more strategic and distinct. Okay, I'm cool with that. So like I said, I'll come back here and I'll read more about the archetypes. We already know to start the three base ones is, recruiter, motivator, and tactician. It says now require a minimum coach level to unlock. And it says this change encourages more focused investment early in your career. So I'm assuming there's more archetypes here. Just skimming through. Excuse me. Like I said, guys, I got to come back here and read more of this to get the details. But again, forgive me, guys, but I'm just giving y'all the high level, and I'm just reacting to some of the things I'm seeing. If you want a deep dive, in-depth video, I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure Eric Rayweather's video is already up. Let's see. What else we got? Coaching carousel. They talk about, we introduced the foundation of coaching carousel or coach carousel last year in College Football 26. We've added more polished feedback and quality of life improvements to make it easier to track movement and make smarter staff decisions. You will now receive notification when your coordinators accept or decline job offers, as well as alerts when one is poached for a new opportunity. Whether they're leaving for a promotion or jumping ship unexpectedly, you'll stay informed and ready to react. Okay. So guys can get poached. That's good. Let's read this little piece here about coordinators. It says, with coordinators playing such a pivotal role in your team's performance and your coach's overall development, we've added 3 new program builder abilities that give you more control over the hiring and retention process. Forever home, your coordinators are less likely to leave for another job. Deal sweetener, coordinators are more likely to accept your job offer. And then cream of the crop increases the caliber of the coordinators available for you to hire. Okay. They said they've rebalanced offer logic so that head coaches at the top tier programs now receive better and more consistent job opportunities when the carousel spins. If you've earned your spot among the elite, the market will better reflect it. Okay. They talk about the trophy room here, which I know that's important to some. Not that important to me, but I'm sure I will get a kick out of filling it up, hopefully. Build your program. What are they talking about here? Talent acquisition and roster management remain at the forefront of college football. How you approach building and keeping your roster has never been more important. The transfer portal continues to grow and evolve, becoming an even bigger force in shaping your program across the country. Whether you're reloading through the high school recruiting or retooling through the portal, your success depends on how well you execute your strategy and continue to evolve with players' ever-changing expectations, okay? In College Football 26, we still have the same core goals in mind, making recruiting feel personal, differentiating players and regions, and making the portal even more authentically unpredictable. From the way prospects evaluate schools to how expectations evolve over time, building your program now means more than just landing talent. It's about understanding it, developing it, and keeping it. Okay. Transfer portal. So let's see. I'm just going to skim through this and see what's different. It says, in 26, we've pushed to fully capture the essence of the chaos and defines this era of the roster movement. College football 25 laid the groundwork, but this year, we wanted the portal to feel authentically unpredictable, forcing tough decisions around the team retention, roster construction, and win now urgency. Now you can expect to see a consistent pool of around 2,000 players entering the portal. Okay. As a part of this rebalance, we have also changed how we assign star ratings to transfer prospects. In 25, players were assigned their star rating based on their overall. Now, star rating is more heavily influenced by a player's position and class year. For example, an 85 overall freshman quarterback will be scored higher than an 85 overall senior guard. Okay, I like that. It says the portal isn't just a mechanic, it's a philosophical choice. Do you build for the future with high school talent or lean into immediate impact veterans for the portal? It's a real world debate playing out across the college football, and programs like Colorado have leaned heavily on the portal, flipping their rosters in a single offseason. Meanwhile, schools like Clemson has committed to developing high school talent through a long-term investment. In college football 26, both paths are viable, and each one comes with distinct trade-offs. Okay. Says this also applies to retaining your own roster. Managing player expectations is just as important as recruiting new talent. In today's game, players want more playing time, more exposure, more alignment with their goals, and sometimes those expectations change over time. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. Deal breakers. I did hear something in the trailer that said it was dynamic deal breakers, so let me see what I can find from that. It says... in college football 26, every player now has a deal breaker, giving each one a clearly defined expectation and a chance to enter the portal if that expectation isn't met. Additionally, conference prestige has been added as a deal breaker, reflecting the mindset of players who value competing in the best conferences against the toughest competition. So I would imagine the SEC will play a heavy role in that. It says we've also refined how a playing time deal breaker works to better reflect the realities of roster management. In 25, players with the playing time deal breaker evaluated their projected depth chart position over the next 4 years. This helps simulate situations where a returning starter could see a highly rated freshman coming in and anticipate losing their job. But it missed an important piece, cases where a lower rated player was actually logging significant snaps. Even if that player was contributing week after week, the system still saw them as buried on the depth chart based on purely an overall rating. Okay, I like that they're changing this because it says in college football 26, playing time now factors into snaps played, and showing that players who are actually seeing the field properly are properly valued, regardless of where they sat on the depth chart. Thank you. See, I love stuff like that. Let me just say that as an aside. Yes, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. And don't even get me started with thinking about franchise mode and Madden and how practice and stuff. Like, see, that right there to me sounds like how you can make practice mean something. You know, let's say I decide to have somebody practice and they start performing and showing up. Something like that should translate into playing time and progression, but I'm off on a tangent. Let's see what else they say here. Even if playing time isn't a player's official deal breaker, it could still be a deciding factor in whether or not they stay. This is especially true for former five-star recruits, high-rated backups, and most notably quarterbacks. Okay, so there's a ton of information to read here in terms of the transfer portal, and I will get to that in my own time. I'm not going to bore you guys with that because this video would be extremely long. Evolving expectations. So again, they're talking more about deal breakers there. What else? Transfer portal customization. Okay. It says with dynamic deal breakers, the addition of the conference prestige deal breaker and improved playing time logic, college football 26 portal is more reactive and unpredictable. While this brings the chaos of modern football to life, We also want you to have the tools to customize that experience and make it your own. Okay, whether you want a wild modern era portal or a throwback to the days when transferring was far less common, you now have full control over how the portal behaves in Dynasty. That's cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that you can customize that the way you want it. My school is talking about at the foundation of every program is one question: what is your identity? Okay, so it looks like there's some identity stuff still they're building on top of that. Location-based recruiting. Okay. Discovering the next star. Recruiting battles. Okay, it says in 25, there were moments when two schools were locked in a close recruiting race, and it wasn't always clear why one team ultimately won out. When both programs were neck and neck, it could feel a little random which school landed the commitment. Now it says when one school reaches the commitment threshold and another is right behind them, a recruiting battle will be triggered. The recruit won't commit right away, and instead they will set a new higher commitment threshold, giving both schools a short window to make one final push. Okay. It's not a long extension, just enough to create space for a true head-to-head finish. From that point on, it becomes a race. Whichever school reaches the new commitment threshold first secures the commitment. Love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I want it to feel like I'm in a real battle, because they're absolutely right. In 25, I didn't always know or understand, well, why didn't I get that guy? Like, it looked like I was in the lead and then barely lost it. So I like that. Let's see what else we got. To sway or to not sway. So that's talking a little bit more about sway is one of the most powerful tools in your recruiting arsenal, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. In College Football 26, we've made several improvements to make this feature clearer, more actionable, and easier to take advantage of when your school doesn't fully align with a recruit's motivations. Okay, so I'll read more about that. But just a side note, guys, look at how deep this blog itself is. Like, we're not accustomed to seeing this type of information for an EA game. Recruiting quality of life. So there's talking about some quality of life improvements here. I think they said, important to have the right tools in place to manage your board, prioritize your targets, and respond to key moments as they happen. In College Football 26, we've made a number of quality of life improvements across the entire recruiting experience, helping you spend less time digging through menus and more time making meaningful decisions. Okay, so they did talk about quality of life changes. That's always good. You know, if you have a feature or a mode that's working relatively well, the quality of life features or improvements are always welcome. So I'm cool with that. Let's see what else we got. Finally, it says we've added a set of advanced search filters to give you more ways to filter and search the prospect list to identify prospects who meet your needs or potential targets for your team. You can now filter by maximum star rating, minimum pipeline level, and recruiting stage. These updates are all about helping you recruit smarter, stay organized, and take action at the right time, whether you're leading the pack or fighting to close the gap. Okay. Player progression. Let's read this a little bit. It says player development is at the core of building a successful program. While talent acquisition is without question the most important thing in college football, inability to develop your players will keep them from reaching their full potential and prevent you from realizing your dreams of winning a national championship. In College Football 26, we've rebalanced and expanded our progression works to create more player. I missed the word there. They says they expanded how progression works to create more player differentiation, realism, and separation between programs. Living in the Iron Paradise. What is this? It says in College Football 26, we have increased the number of skill gap levels from 10 to 20, allowing for more gradual and natural progression. Okay. Physical abilities. We know all about these. Let's see if there's anything different. As Scott described in the deep dive, we've introduced new physical and mental abilities this year. In addition to the new physical abilities, we've also modified the requirements to unlock physical ability tiers. Okay. We've completely overhauled our archetype system, introducing a new player types and physical ability combinations that better reflect diversity of players across college football. More on that later, okay? From impact player to star. Training results. Yeah, let's talk about that one really quick. Let's read on that. It says, speaking of training results, this screen has undergone a major overhaul to give you a better visibility into the growth and progression. Excuse me, guys. See what happens when you try to read too fast. Let this be a lesson. Just take your time. Growth and progression of each player during the offseason. For each player, you can now see exactly how much each attribute increased. Additionally, the player model on the right-hand side will display their weight gain, any abilities that upgraded, and if their development trait has upgraded. Okay, so you'll be able to see weight gain and things like that. They talk about manual progression here, position changes. Is anything new here? When a player moves to a new role, they must learn to play the position and the skill set, one that may not directly translate from their previous experience. While they can certainly grow into the role over time, that development doesn't happen overnight. To better reflect, now when a player changes positions, they will only retain abilities that are shared between their previous archetype and the new one, as it should. I am not mad at that at all. Managing wear and tear. Let's read that really quick. Much like a boxer, a football player's body can only take so many hits before it starts to break down. It's not just about whether a player is injured. It's about how their body responds to the physical demands of the season. Every hit adds up. As our friend OG says, not all hits are created equal. Some players are able to endure the wear and tear over the long term, while others wear down under the weight of repeated impacts. So you're going to have season and career health. I love that. And I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure it is, that you're going to see this play out in Madden as well. So let's just read this first part. In college football 26, every player now has a season and career health pool that determines how much wear and tear damage they can recover in a single season and over the course of their career. Love that. Each time a player recovers wear and tear damage, it draws from these pools. Once the season health pool is depleted, that player can no longer recover wear and tear damage until the off season, when they will fully recover. Oh man, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. And I'll read more into that later, but I just love the idea that, and it should be that way. It should be over the duration of their career. That is a beautiful addition. How does season health change season to season? Let's see. It says the pool replenishes. However, the size of the pool is determined by how full it was at the end of the season. For example, a player who finishes the season with their health pool nearly empty will begin the next year with a significantly smaller season health pool. This reflects the physical wear they carried over the course of the season. Conversely, a player who finished the year with a pool that's almost full will begin the next year with an almost identical health pool size. Okay. So I think also what they're saying here too, without listing it here, is the career health will probably have an impact on the season health as well, I would imagine. They talk about auto subs, and that's a way that you can incorporate the wear and tear. I've seen some of this in the Madden beta because they share the same system. So, it just goes and tells you what keep them fresh and normal and grind it out and all of that and custom. So we all knew this was a part of the game because they talked about this in the Madden deep dive. And like I said, it's in the beta. And then you can customize all of it. Delivering the world of college football. What are they talking about here? Says, while we look to stay current in the ever-changing world of college football, we also focused on expanding the depth of Dynasty Mode, building a more complete and immersive world through better access to stats, deeper historical tracking, storylines, and ongoing quality of life improvements that make reduce friction in your Dynasty experience. All right. Part of the college football history. It says one of the most powerful parts of Dynasty Mode is looking back. Okay, so they're going to have history. Like right here, it says college football history features national champions going back to 1869, including split national champions, conference champions dating back to 1896, including historical conferences no longer in existence. Okay. For each national and conference champion, you will be able to see the year they won the championship, their top 25 ranking, season record, and the name of the coach that won the championship. Okay. And then 21 individual player and coach award winners. For example, historical Heisman Trophy and Bear Bryant Coach of the Year winners. Okay. That's always cool, man. A lot of people are really big into historical data and trophy cases and stuff like that. So again, I'm happy when everyone can get something that they love in a game. I love that. Is there anything else? Numbers don't lie. It says, just like you, the community, we're stat junkies. We believe the numbers tell the story. This year, we've expanded stat tracking across players, teams, and conferences to give you a fuller, more detailed view of performance throughout the Dynasty Mode. Let's go. Let's go. Improve tiebreaker logic. They have head-to-head, record versus common conference opponents, CFP ranking. Okay, stat padding. We've also added deeper stat tracking for both individual players and entire teams. The box score now displays the total number of plays and yards per play. We've also added a new metrics within the season stats, career stats, and team stat screens, all accessible from the stat and records tab in the Dynasty Mode. Players, season, and career stats. Okay, so there's a lot of different stats here for quarterbacks, running backs, team stats, punters, defense, penalties, and other, like games played. New positions and archetypes. All right, so we already know about that. So they have the same edge rusher and Sam and Will and things like that, as is Madden has the same thing. Some positions like wide receiver now feature 7 unique archetypes. They have speedster, route artist, physical route runner, elusive route runner, gritty possession, gadget receiver, and contested specialist. Okay. Formation subs. What are they saying about formation subs? One of the things that makes college football so dynamic is the variety of formations and alignments across the different programs. Each week, college coaches find creative ways to use personnel, designing packages that create mismatches and exploit opponent team weaknesses. So it says formation subs bring that same flexibility, allowing you to assign specific players to specific formations. This is a great way to take advantage of new positions and archetypes. Did they have formation subs in 25? I feel like that was missing there, but it was in Madden. Or am I tripping? I feel like formation subs was not in college football 25, but I could be tripping. Custom conferences and protected opponents, scheduling updates, college football playoffs, quality of life. They talk about, we've added a number of improvements that make it easy to navigate, manage, and access key information within your dynasty. So that is phenomenal. That includes things like quick access to player info, player stats and attributes everywhere, development traits in the player module, quick access to team schedule, members tab. Looks like there's quite a few updates there. It says in the Dynasty Hub, we've added a new tab called Members. The Members tab lets you see every user in your online Dynasty or every coach character in the offline Dynasty. For each team, it shows their username, team ranking. Okay, so this was in Madden. So they're just bringing that over to college football. Like I said, I didn't even realize college football didn't have that. They also now will feature cross-play in Dynasty. College Football 26 will have an online Dynasty that now supports cross-play across Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. You can run a 32-person online Dynasty with friends, regardless of platform. Within the Members tab, you'll be able to see each unit system. So clearly they took that from Madden. I think that 32 represents the 32 teams in the NFL, right? So again, it's always good when these games are sharing, when they're sharing information to bring the best possible game. It says it's the little things. It's the little things that bring everything together. Subtle touches that elevates the experience. Here are a few little things that we've added in this year. You know about the dynamic time of day. We already saw that. Super Sim tempo adjustments, broken records feedback, coach stats, force win update. Or forcing a win or loss, it now says the name of the team you are forcing a win for, so you no longer have to guess which team is home or away. Combined opponent record, advanced week confirmation. Oh man, this is the big one. And I think I saw Mills put this on X. He was like, he highlighted this. A confirmation pop-up that will now appear when you go to advance the week, helping prevent accidental clicks that could cost you a national championship. That actually happened to Mills, man, for any of you guys that know him, on stream. He simmed a national championship and did it by mistake. I've actually skipped a week ahead before as well by mistake. So that is absolutely a quality of life change. Sim to points, red shirt updates, scouting ability infos, an increased spreadsheet row count, and then team builder. Now, I'm not really going to get into team builder because I don't do it. I know a lot of people are big in this, so I will just say I'm happy to see that there has been some improvements to team builder. I'm hoping you guys that are into team builder, maybe y'all will leave a comment here, let me know what is said in the article or this blog. Is that to your expectation? Like I said, I don't play with, I play with team builder teams. It's fun to do that, but I don't build them. So none of this I really would have an opinion on, but it definitely looks like they spent a lot of time in it. And again, they talk about generic stadiums. They talk about pipelines, rivalries, toughest places to play. So they have a list of that. Post-game speech. What is that? If you've made it this far, thank you. The blog isn't just a feature list. Okay. I was about to say, I thought this had something to do with like post game, like a weekly wrap up show or something like that. But it's basically just EA and whoever wrote this article. Let me see who wrote it. Shout outs to guys like Ben Hammiller. I've met Ben several times, man, while at EA, and you guys know Ben was big on college football, and then when college football disappeared or went away, he was working on Madden, and now he's back. So it says, with that said, we will see you guys again for the Road to Glory deep dive and the Superstar deep dive. And I'm not sure who wrote this article. I don't know if it was OG or Ben. Maybe Ben Hammiller wrote this one, but either way, man, shout outs to, the EA crew. Like I said, my final comments on this, guys, is take this however you want to take it, but I have never seen EA Sports football games or any game as far as sports have this type of blog. Never. They are adding a ton to these games. They're adding to the immersion. They're adding to the depth. They're adding to the gameplay aspects. And that's all I could ever ask for. How it's executed is another question. We'll see. But I'm very pleased so far with the way that they are presenting College Football 26 and Madden 26. My only hope is that all of this comes into fruition. They're good games. And then the games continue to grow at this type of rate, because clearly it shows what you can do when you buckle down, and those who control the, resources and the powers that be over these games allow the developers time, money, and resources to do these things. All right, so that's it, man. That's all I got. I don't know how long we've been talking. 34 minutes. Jesus. But all right, man, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. And outside of that, man, listen, I'm excited, cautiously optimistic, but I am excited to see what these games will be bringing to the table. And yeah, I can't wait to get them in my hands. All right, man, that's been it. Leave your comments. I'll try to respond. And outside of that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.